Hello and welcome to Taking You to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. I'm your host, JP John Paz, with a two-man power trip. Of course, joining me, the star of the show, the former WWE World Tag Team Champion, one of the greatest trainers ever in the history of the business, the Doctor of Desire himself, Dr. Tom Prichard. How you doing today, sir?
John, I'm doing great today. I hope you're doing tremendous as well.
Yes, some horrible weather, but doing good despite.
Yeah, it's going around everywhere.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the hell's going on lately. This terrible weather we've been getting all week. Pretty crazy, pretty shitty.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. Let's get through it.
Now, how's it going at JPWA?
Well, we're getting ready to start a new class coming up this Monday, so I'm looking forward to it.
When the new class starts and you get the new students, do you know ahead of time how many people are going to show up, or is this kind of?
Well, if everybody shows up, says they're going to show up, I'll have seven this time.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So, but I can't guarantee that until they actually show up because you might find this odd and strange and hard to believe, but people will send you things and then actually not follow through.
Yeah, I
I know
believe
it's
it.
hard to
Yeah.
believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yeah, I actually had that happen. I was gonna sell I had two Mania tickets. I was gonna sell them. Yeah, and somebody offered me double, so I accepted it, and of course they never paid. So I said to my buddy, I said, I got a lesser offer, but the first guy that offered me double, I was going to take it because that's
well,
can't
sure.
pass that up. But now we're going to go.
So now you are going to Mania.
Yep,
Okay. So
night
you
two.
did night two.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cody
Wow.
versus Roman. Yes.
Wow. What does the WrestleMania ticket go for these days?
So I think the average price has got to be in the couple hundreds because I saw like first row and if you want to get real close, they're in the thousands. It's insane how much. Like I think I saw some guy said it cost a couple thousand per ticket for him and his son to go. I was like, oh my god! But
That's
they go up close.
yeah, that's incredible. But even up close, I mean, it's still crazy.
Mike
Mike
D.
D.
Brendan, good evening. Happy WrestleMania week. Speaking of WrestleMania,
It is WrestleMania week. Yes, it is.
Alfred Klus. Hello, Alfred. Nice German name, if that's his real name.
Yes, it is.
Barbara, hello, good to see you. She made it here on time. Yes.
Outstanding. Outstanding.
A great gift idea would be a training session with Dr. Tom.
We've done that before.
I like
We've done
that.
training sessions before as gifts. Yeah.
Any
No, I
Paul
don't.
Diamond stories?
I
Is he
don't have
Hall of
any.
Fame
I don't
material?
have any Paul Diamond stories. I do not.
Is he Hall of Fame material?
I think that's up in the air. I don't know Paul that well. In fact, I don't know Paul at all. I don't think I've ever met Paul.
Before we get into maybe some great WWE Mania talk, before outside of my tickets, Scorch has got a good question. Dr. Tom, what do you think about guaranteed contracts for wrestlers compared to the way things were pre 1980s? Is there a downside to guaranteed contracts?
These days, I think it's great because you're treated more like an athlete and treated more like a pro. Back in the 1980s, you had to draw what you earned, or before pre 1980s. I'm sorry, you had to whatever you drew in the house. You had to sell tickets.
Yep.
So it was a different business, different setup. But I think the downside to guaranteed contracts is if you draw more in the house and your contract uh, is guaranteed, then of course you're getting screwed. But I think today the way it is, guaranteed contracts they're not bad. Like they're pretty good.
I feel like nowadays the fewer guys are making more money. Do you know what I mean? I feel like
Yeah.
less guys, but they're making more money. Those few guys that are able to make it.
Well, yeah, and it's always really been like that. You had your top guys making the money, and the rest of the guys making what they made. But yeah, it's a totally different setup now in 2024. Certainly before the 1980s.
Sometimes though, let's say you get the guaranteed deal, but then all of a sudden you become a megastar. All of a
Right.
sudden you just become like through the roof. Like Becky Lynch's contract before she became the man was low. For considerably speaking, she became the man. She sold all that merch. Then she had to work in. You know what I mean? Like if you had deal in place where it wasn't guaranteed, she probably would have made more money at first as the man.
Probably so. That's the downside of the guaranteed contracts. But where are you going to go to make that money anyway?
Right. Unless maybe Tony Khan's going to overpay you in AEW.
Tony Khan just let some people go, though, didn't he?
Yeah. Yep. After he said he would never do it, he let go of 10 people.
How about that?
Said never would release anybody, no cuts. And he did cuts and he released.
Never say never.
Yeah, true. Very true. So. Brendan, one of the best Harley race stories I heard that Dustin Rhodes shared was Owen messed with his chili. Did you get to witness that, Doc?
No, that was before I got there. But I certainly could see Owen messing with the chili. I heard that Harley had everybody over at his house, and he made chili, and certainly Owen could do that.
Was a good prankster, that's for sure.
Yes, he was.
I don't know if Harley is a guy I'd want to be pranking, though.
Well, he was pranking the boys, man. He just, but yeah, I think Harley would have took refuge on him.
Barbara's got a question. Dr. Tom, jobbers enhancement talent, do they make decent money?
Yeah. I mean, where else are you going to make $500 a night or $200 a night in the wrestling business back then? I think it was $500 if I'm not mistaken.
A lot of those guys that I talked to, the enhancement guys, they were saying how much they made,
right,
compared to what they'd make when they were, quote unquote, stars on the indie scene. When they're in the main events, they were making more as an enhancement guy for WWF.
Right. So yeah, definitely.
So they wouldn't mind coming on TV and jobbing because they're getting paid more that day for probably what they'd make the whole weekend.
Right. And that makes more sense.
Magazine Retriever, Dr. Tom, could a wrestler with a body like Outlaw Ron Bass circa 1988 get a decent contract today, or is the business too body conscious today?
Well, look at Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn. Sami's not bad, but he's not John Cena. But yeah, Kevin Owens doesn't have a body.
No, not at all.
So yeah, I think he could if he is a hell of a worker and draw people.
It's interesting the way certain guys will get pushed. You know what I mean? Just because, it doesn't look like he could be a wrestler. It doesn't look like he could be a top star, but he might have charisma or might have some sort of X factor. Maybe he's good on the mic. And they could still get that push despite not looking the part.
Well, yeah, and the business has changed so much from about character development and not worrying so much about the body shaming or the body looks or things like that. So yeah, I think things have changed so much that it depends on what you bring to the table. And Kevin Owens has proven time and time again that he can produce and bring whatever he has to the table, and people like it.
Bray Wyatt was another one of those guys, not necessarily a body guy at all.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt. I'm trying to think of some other guys, but they escape me right now.
Did you get a chance to watch the Bray Wyatt documentary?
I did not yet. How is it?
Very good. I was impressed. It's actually about 2 hours long too, so it's not one of those short ones. It's a long one, but I was just impressed with. Obviously, they have a lot of good interviews with him. Some that were never released. They have a lot of cool stuff.
Funny you should mention that because I just now got a text here from somebody I haven't heard from in a while. It said, "Yo, it's Pain. I'm sitting here watching Wyndham's documentary, seeing some FCW stuff. They had FCW stuff in there."
Oh yeah, a lot. Yep.
Okay.
You were interviewed actually at one point. It must have been an old interview, but yeah, they had you on them for a minute or two.
So they said I had to pause immediately and text you. Hope all is well. Let's have lunch, dinner, breakfast, whatever, soon and catch up. So yeah, it's funny you should say that. Right there is like got the text.
Who is that? Who wrote that to you?
Scott Payne, the ex-FBI agent.
Oh,
used to do some security years ago.
I thought it was excellent because Undertaker does the narration, if you will. Hogan's in it, Flair's in it. Cena was a little bit odd in it, just some of his wording, but I think that's par for the course for him. But they had everybody in there, every big name. I thought it was really well done.
Very cool. So I was in it.
Yeah, yep. Talking about him and FCW and stuff, and then they
Yeah.
have old Dusty footage too, showing him talking about Bray.
So that was it. I must have done that when we had our old school at JPWA.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
Cool.
It looked like it.
Very
Yep.
good. Yep.
Yeah. So if anybody hasn't seen it, I would definitely check it out. It's very good, and Dr. Time would watch it if you get 2 hours.
If
Watch it.
well, we'll make 2 hours. My wife told me the other day it was on, but we just haven't had time to see it. We've been running kind of crazy lately.
Obviously, very sad, but I mean, it's
Yeah.
excellently done. They do a really good job. I mean,
Very cool.
WWE production is off the charts.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
What are your thoughts on the CM Punk interview that came out recently talking about Tony Khan and Jungle Boy Jack Perry?
I haven't seen it, quite honestly, so I really don't know. What did Punk say?
Basically, that Jack Perry is like a joke. This guy's a punk. He tried to like start a fight with Punk. He's tried to start problems, and Punk literally, because he told Tony Khan, you got to do something about this guy. He wouldn't do anything. So basically, Punk had to choke him out and kind of embarrass him and end it then and there. But then he wouldn't go out for the show because Tony Khan, amateur hour, wouldn't do anything about Jungle Boy. Hey, I just had to beat up this guy and choke him out. I'm not going out there. So then Joe and Jerry Lynn had to talk him into doing the match at All In. But basically, Jungle Boy's a punk. Is what CM Punk is saying.
Well, that's my perception of the kid anyway. I mean, he seems entitled. And quite honestly, looking around and some of the dealings I've had with people lately, there are a lot of people who don't have the same respect for the business as some of the other people do. And I don't know if it's a generational thing or what it is, or if it's just the attitude that the world has come to. You kids get off my lawn. I don't mean it like that. I just mean there has to be a certain level of respect, and not a lot of people have it these days. A lot of the younger guys are missing that. They don't know what it's like to grow up having to draw a house to get paid. It is guaranteed contracts, and it's not a bad thing, but it's just they don't understand the other side of the coin that some people have had to come up through the independents or through the hard knocks, and Punk was one of those guys. Again, Punk is over, whereas this guy, Jack Perry, thinks he's somebody, and Punk had to take care of it the way he had to take care of it. So, yeah, I think he is a punk. Never met the guy, but everything I've read about him seems like he is a self-obsessed, narcissistic punk.
Yeah, to be honest, I've never heard like a positive story about him, especially backstage. I heard a bad story about him and fans and like autograph signings being kind of cocky. Bully Ray just had an interview with Busted Open, or he was on Busted Open, one of his shows that he does, and he was saying that he had a bad experience with Jack Perry, and basically Perry was trying to antagonize like the veterans, oddly. So yeah, not good.
No, it's not good at all. So we could do without that.
And to be honest, he was talking about Tony Khan too, and he was saying that I am here to draw, I'm here to make money, I'm here to sell merch. Tony Khan didn't care about any of that. He was more obsessed with 5-star matches and stuff like that. And he said, Tony, we're not even in the same business. And he's telling this to the owner of the company. We're not in the same business. Pretty crazy.
Right. Yeah, but it's true. Tony is out to, I don't know what Tony Khan's out to do, quite honestly. I have no idea.
Well, according to Punk, not make money. He didn't care about making money. He's a billionaire because of his dad's money. So he he said he doesn't run it like a business.
Right. Because he's never really had to. So,
but it's crazy that, and people said this isn't true. It has no bearing on it. But the minute that came out that he said he doesn't run it like a business, he made 10 cuts. So he might have been listening to that one.
That might have been that might have hit home.
Yeah.
So he's going to show Punk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's crazy though. Basically, you pick Jungle Boy. Jack Perry never drew a dime over Punk, who's like a cult hero and then draws money like crazy and sells merch like crazy. Kind of shows you his thoughts on the business.
Well, and Tony fed him right to WWE. So
Yep.
yeah, it just goes to show you.
Yep. Where he became the top merch draw within like a month for them, which is
Right.
crazy because Cody was dominating merch.
Right. Right. So yeah, it's a crazy time, but I did get a chance to watch Raw this past week, and Rock, when he cut his promo saying, pro wrestling is cool again. So I'm glad that those changes are taking place when you can say pro wrestling, or wrestling at least.
Yep.
Sports entertainment was a catchphrase for a long time, but it just never, it rang true, but it just never, to me, it never really articulated what this is, and this is professional wrestling. It's always been Hollywood and it's always been showbiz, but uh, it's professional wrestling.
And I love that The Rock is bringing back a little bit of the Attitude Era, cursing
Yeah,
and bringing the blood back. I like it.
making little kids cry. It was great.
That was great. That was pure genius.
Cody Rhodes died. What? That's sometimes we get caught up and we forget what really brought our love to the business was being able to um, suspend your belief and watch it on TV. And even though as ridiculous as it may be to an adult, as a kid, you're watching that going, "Oh my God, this is real. They're going to kill this guy." I remember watching on TV when I thought they were killing Terry Funk, and wanted my mom to call the cops. She says, "There's cops there already." I said, "No, no, no, no! You got to call the cops. Look what they're doing to him." And it's like, yeah. So that's great. That's awesome.
Dave Cole, he says, "Hey, John, Dr. Tom, watched the interview with Punk and got the impression that Punk held back and didn't say it all, but he was said he basically was disrespect for the business, the
Right.
Khan and the Jungle Boy."
Yeah. Yeah, and I can see that. This
People
is
were
like,
funny. People were saying, "Oh, Punk, the old Punk is back. He's being ornery and shooting at the hip and stuff." But I felt like Dave said, I almost felt like he might have been holding back a little bit. Like he could have went in on Tony Khan. He kind of was pretty professional about it.
yeah. Why bury somebody when you can do it the nice way? You
Right.
know?
I
Yeah.
mean, he was honest and he was frank, but I felt like he could have really put the screws in if he wanted to.
But he didn't. So that's
No,
good.
no.
Yeah.
Today's female wrestlers are very athletic. Some have gymnastic backgrounds. Does this give them a hand up in training? Thank you.
Well, it does, because yes, you have to be athletic, and gymnastic backgrounds are nice and everything else, but I really still think this is the way I feel about training. Training is the basics and fundamentals never go out of style. So I told one of my guys just a month ago or something about coming off the top rope. He says, "Hey, give me some stuff to come off the top rope with, Dr. Tom." I said, "I don't know, man. I never was never a top rope guy. If you want to try some stuff, try some stuff." But just because you can jump off the top rope doesn't make you a great performer, or maybe it does. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I think you have to have some exciting stuff, but you have to have a basic fundamental sound foundation before you can really um, make ground in this business today. I think, because you're going to have to go through NXT, and they're going to teach you the basics and fundamentals there. So while you can do all the athletic stuff and gymnastic stuff, that's great. But if you can't lock up, if you can't circle in the ring, if you can't do the basics, it's not going to matter. It's just my opinion.
Have you seen some of the female gymnasts in WWE, like Tiffany Stratton or the girl in
Yeah,
NXT, Sol Raka? Yeah, very good. But it's all about, like you always say, it's all about when you do it, right? I mean, not you can't just do it willy nilly and be this athletic person with no psychology, right? I mean, it's all about when you're doing the maneuver.
yeah. It's how you do it, when you do it, and it's in between the moves that count. That's what brings it all together. If you're just doing moves, and that's all you're doing is just doing moves, we're still telling stories. So yeah, there's still a lot more to it. A lot more to it. And but all those ladies are great. I thought NXT was great. Um, Not saying don't do the athletic and gymnastic stuff, but you just have to know where to put it and how to tell a story.
Dave is saying Rhea Ripley, pure athlete and can really work. Rhea Ripley's impressive. I agree.
Yeah, she is. I think she's very impressive.
Actually, the girl in NXT, I forgot to mention Kalani Jordan. Super impressive. Has I think, a gymnast background as well. So they
I've
are
not.
scouting like really good gymnasts. It seems like.
Yeah, I haven't seen her yet, but yeah, they are scouting. They're scouting athletes.
Doesn't hurt that they're good looking either. It just it seems like
Sure,
obviously that's a prerequisite, not prerequisite, but you got to be camera friendly. Yeah.
of course, but again, it's showbiz.
Yep.
So
DBQRX3. Nice. Off topic, Dr. Tom. Did you ever hear the story about Steve Keirn accidentally shooting Barry Windham in the leg with a 9mm handgun?
yeah, it was actually when I think the cap came back and kind of caught him in the leg. It was a he was shooting at a sign and it recoiled off, or the slug hit him in the leg.
Damn.
Yeah.
Dangerous business here with these guys.
Well, it was a dangerous time back then because you're going to shoot jackrabbits and shoot signs on the road and throw bottles at signs and stuff like that. Those kind of sports, after hours, went out. I think once everybody got the Xbox and gaming and stuff like that came into play.
Yeah, they're not going drinking and going out shooting anymore, I don't think.
No, I'm glad they're not. I'm glad they're drinking their milk, saying their prayers, eating their cookies. I'm glad.
It's not like Chris Farley said in the movie Black Sheep, drinking, shooting, snorting, smoking, shooting, not doing any of
Yeah,
that.
not
Yeah.
doing any of that anymore.
Yeah.
That's good. Stay clean, boys.
Speaking of guns, Harley
Yes.
Race pulled a gun from Del Mountain. Harley Race pulled a gun on Hulk Hogan, even though it was actually Vince McMahon who was responsible for encroaching on Harley's territory. What were your thoughts on this?
Well, now is this on the Harley documentary or Harley Dark Side? I guess is what you're
I'm
referencing,
not
Dell.
He might be, but I actually interviewed Harley. God, this had to been 9 years ago. I interviewed him, and he mentioned he did pull a gun on Hogan, and Hogan's mentioned it before too.
Yeah,
Basically, because they were going to St. Louis. Oh, this is my territory. What are you guys doing? But it's not Hogan's fault. He's just the top guy. It
right,
was Vince.
right. Well, that was the way they did things back then. They want maybe. I don't think Harley Race was going to shoot Hulk Hogan, but he wanted to just let him know he had a gun just in case.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
not like Hogan held it against him. They worked together so much in 87 and 88, and they had
right.
awesome matches too. I mean, like crazy matches. They were going the floor, beating each other up, bloody matches, hardcore. I mean, matches using tables. I mean, Hogan really obviously let that one go. He was just probably thinking Harley being Harley,
Yeah,
just rolled it off the shoulders.
yeah. And Hogan took it like a man and understood that was the way the old school guys did stuff.
Happy Hump Day from
It
Mike.
is Hump Day, Mike.
Please ask Dr. Tom how tough Harley Race was. Ric Flair said he knocked out two guys with one punch.
I could see that. I've never seen Harley knock anybody out, but I could see Harley being a tough guy. The old story about I'll tell it anyway. The Freebirds going around the dressing room and freely urinating on bags, or not just pissing on bags, but doing stupid shit. And Harley said, looked at him, and took a big drag from a cigarette. Said, "See that bag right there? That's mine. One drop of piss, I'm gonna beat the shit out of each one of you." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If one drop of piss gets on his bag, it's like, yeah, he was tough, but I mean, guys were stupid too. So if you did
I was
something stupid, you deserve to get your ass kicked.
I forget who told me the story, but basically there was a guy in front of him and a guy behind him, and he cold cocked the front. Like they're both challenging him to fight, so it's not like he's doing it willy nilly. They're both
Right.
challenging the fight. They're both drunk. Punched the one guy, and then on the recoil on the back, he elbowed the guy. And I mentioned that to Flair, and Flair said there was another story where he punched the one guy and he headbutted the other guy, he knocked him out, and then he took the other guy and headbutted him after he already punched him. So there's a bunch of good Harley Race stories of him beating up two guys at once.
Yeah, yeah, and that was that's what I mean. That's what the guys used to do after the shows is uh, go to a bar and have a. Not everybody liked to fight, but Harley Race and Manny Fernandez and guys like that did. So go to the bar and get drunk, get in a fight. That was their deal. But I would believe it. Seen a couple bar fights.
Call me crazy though. Wouldn't Harley Race be like one of the last guys on your list though to fight? Wouldn't that be?
If you knew, but if you didn't know, Harley was kind of big and he had that raw bone strength. He wasn't a bodybuilder by any means, but if you didn't know, you're drunk. What are you going to do? If you're there and the wrestlers come in town and you see this big guy, you want to try wrestlers because it's all phony, it's fake. I mean, yeah, it'd be the last thing if you weren't drunk and stupid.
I feel like Haku, Harley Race. I mean, there's a couple guys maybe stay away from, especially if they're drunk.
Well, if you were smart.
If you're smart, yeah.
Yeah, but if you're drunk, you're not too smart, and you forget things.
ATF Media. Shouldn't everyone get a week of vacation every year from March 30th to April 6th? Since Hands Have Known Ronnie Garvin's birthday is March 30th, and his is April 4th, meaning mine, aka ATF.
Yes, everyone should get a week's vacation March 30th through April 6th. That's why I took my week vacation.
I thought he was going to say because of WrestleMania week. I didn't think he was going to go Ronnie Garvin.
No, it makes sense because Ronnie Garvin's birthday is March 30th.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah.
I just didn't think that's where he was going with that one.
Well, why wouldn't he?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Paul Shaw, abso-effing-lutely.
Yes.
I believe Ivy Nile is a future champion. Very impressed with her ability. How do you feel about that? You're trainee Ivy Nile.
Yeah, I believe she's a future champion as well. I believe she's a current champion, without any title. She's not wearing a belt. Well, you say belts now. I keep for some reason.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Yep.
Yeah, but I think she's going to be a champion very in the near future, no doubt.
Was she always that ripped? Like, I feel like lately she's just in awesome shape. She was always that big ripped, huh?
Yeah, she was always in shape. She was an athlete. Still, she's a great athlete. She won. What was the Rock show?
Oh yeah, the not American Gladiator. I forget what it was called, but
yeah,
basically that Triumph Games or something like that.
Yeah, what was it called? I can't think either.
Damn it! Now I'm trying to remember. It was the Damn it! I'm trying to think of.
I'm not the only one.
Titan Games. Titan Games. I knew it was some of the T. Titan Games. Yes. She does the Hercules thing where she has the chain, which I think is pretty cool like that. Yeah. I don't know if she knows it's Hercules thing, but pretty cool.
Doesn't matter. She's strong. She's a strong lady.
Nice or maybe lady. A little bit of an homage to Brody. Maybe who knows?
Maybe.
David Cole. I remember watching the Blackjacks Hall of Fame induction speech. Mulligan sounded bitter that their run was short in WWE, but I know he had a great singles career. I know they drew money for sure. Do you agree that the Blackjacks drew money?
Oh, yeah. The Blackjacks drew money, I think, wherever they went. I saw them in Texas. Then I don't know why their run got cut in New York, but no telling. But I thought they drew money, and I was like Mulligan and Lanza.
And he drew money, Blackjack, in Mid-Atlantic like crazy.
Yes. Big time.
And, of course, Bray Wyatt's grandfather. So nice little tie-in to Bray Wyatt there, which, of course, they talk about on the documentary. I forgot Barry Windham's also on the documentary being interviewed. Actually wearing a Blackjack Mulligan hat, believe it or not.
Now, is this documentary on Vice
Peacock.
or
Peacock?
Oh, on Peacock. Okay. Cool.
Of course, IRS, Mike Rotundo is interviewed, his mom, everybody, his sister, his brother.
Cool.
I wonder if Bo Dallas will return Yeah, they kind of teased that a little bit, that he's not done, that he may return. Maybe it's Uncle Howdy or some other creation that hasn't been released yet from the
Well,
Bray
with
Wyatt.
Hunter there, I think it's a great possibility. I really do.
Triple H is funny. He basically was saying like he'd be on the phone with an hour long with him talking about like stories that he wanted to do. Let's do this. Let's do that. Like he was very just crazy idea man. Like he just had so many ideas.
Yeah, yeah. So I, yeah, it's a shame he left too soon.
Dave is talking about Bray Wyatt. It's called Becoming Immortal. It's on Peacock. It's called Bray Wyatt Becoming Immortal. If he's talking about the Titan games, it's just the Titan games.
So it's on Peacock, and then you go to WWE.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, and it'll be
For
on there.
me, for whatever reason, I guess because I must always watch WWE when I'm on Peacock, it was the first thing that came up. So I mean, it might not be the same for everybody, but you
Yeah,
know the old algorithm. Hey, this guy always watches WWE on here. Let's just put up.
probably.
There's a bunch of good WWE documentaries that they've done on there. There's the Kurt Angle one I thought was great. The Ric Flair one I thought was great. Cody Rhodes one was great. So there's a bunch of good ones. The Undertaker one, which was like a
Yeah,
5-parter, was great.
yeah, yeah. Well, they do really great documentaries. They do the homework for the most part.
Did Harley Race have the ability to crush bottle caps with 2 small fingers on his left hand?
I don't know what you mean by that, but I'm sure he did. He had that.
Crush bottle
Yeah,
cap.
I don't know. He had that. He had that tendon strength. He just had that strength that wherever he grabbed you, you were his no matter what. You weren't going anywhere.
I know Cornette always called it like farm boy strength or farmer strength or what like that's
That raw bone strength. Yeah, crazy.
Harley Race was old school tough. He survived polio and a terrible car accident and he continued wrestling. This from Magazine Retriever.
Yeah, he did, and he was. You know, he's one of those first guys I remember in El Paso and wrestling. He's one of the reasons why I smartened up to the wrestling business too. He came off Harley Race. He came off the ladder on Grizzly Smith's neck. El Paso. We had to move to Houston, so we get to Houston, and Johnny Valentine had come off the top or second rope with his elbow on Grizzly Smith's neck at the same time that Harley did it in El Paso. And so I asked Harley and Grizz both about it later on, and Grizzly told me uh, that he had a 6-week tour to Japan. That was back in the days of no internet and things like that, where nobody really knew what was going on. And so they did the angle in El Paso, and he was working Houston too. So they did it with Harley and did it with Johnny and did it in other places. But Harley was he was legendary. So when you got in the business, you knew. And I got in when Harley was champion, and he was just that raw bone wrestling heel who you knew when you watched him that he was a real deal.
Hello, Ibsen. Ibsen,
Ibsen,
hello. Please ask Dr. Tom why drunk people want to fight the toughest wrestlers such as Harley Race, Haku, and Mad Dog Vachon. Are they just stupid? Thank you.
they're drunk and stupid. When you're drunk, you get that liquor courage, and you just feel like you can do whatever. Maybe you get a lucky shot, I guess.
Who would you rather fight, Haku or Harley Race?
I'd rather just walk out the door. I don't fight either one of them.
Now, obviously, Harley Race, one of the toughest guys of all time. What did you think? Completely separate. This has nothing to do with anything, but just something that popped in my head because I saw the Vince stuff. The Vince McMahon stuff came out. What did you think about Vince and Janelle Grant? Did you see this recently? The love letter she wrote to him. What were your thoughts on that? If you saw that?
You wrote him a love letter now?
Yeah, you didn't see it. Yeah, it was a long love letter. Yeah, and I think it's from 2021, which kind of goes against the lawsuit. So her lawyer saying, "Oh, it was coerced," which to me was like terrible defense right there by the lawyer. But oh, it was coerced. Like, come on, she wrote a long love letter to him, and it was coerced, and said saying how much she loved him and this and that. Just not look good for her case, to be honest. If her
No,
case
and that's why
will
we
go
always
down.
have to wait. We have to wait till everything comes out. I said
Yep.
if any of that stuff happened that was written in the lawsuit or complaint, then it's terrible. But you never know what's going to come out. So something like that, if she wrote him a love letter and said she just forgot, oops,
And
I
then
don't know,
she
man.
and
Yeah.
the lawyer said, "Oh, she was intimidated, or Vince is trying to intimidate her by releasing this love letter, and like basically trying to put a defense for himself." It was a
So
weird.
she actually sat down and wrote a love letter, or was it an email, or what?
Yeah, it was. I think it's an actual love letter. Yeah, but
But it's an
it's typed out.
email.
But it's typed out.
Yeah, man, I don't
But
know.
she admitted she wrote it, and they got it from her.
Well, then it doesn't look very good.
Yeah,
But
that's
still,
what.
some
Yeah,
of the
that's
stuff. Yeah, but some of the stuff that's in the complaint is a little rough.
yes, yes. Oh, there's nothing, no doubt about it. He's in the wrong with no way to slice it any way different. He's definitely in the wrong, but she's in the wrong too. I mean, there's no doubt
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. This is going to be interesting. Then I know Laurinaitis claimed he was a victim. So yeah, it's a
He looks
mess.
like he looks, to be honest, and we love Johnny Ace in the show, but he looks like an idiot now trying
Whoa, whoa,
to do
whoa!
that.
We love Johnny Ace on the show.
Yeah, we always talk about how he's a great agent and a great boss and talent relations. Yeah,
Okay.
not personally, we're saying professionally, he was great.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Good point.
But I just thought that was crazy with her because I was like, oh, I wonder what Vince's defense is. And then this came out, it's like, oh wait, she was in love with him. Now she's like a lover scorn. It's like, ugh, it doesn't look good for her at all, to be honest.
Well, when is this thing going to happen?
Not
You know?
sure. No, I'm not sure.
Well, I guess they're interviewing people now.
Yeah, oh yeah. Scorch, as I suspected from the beginning, Janelle Grant's hands are not totally clean. I suspected from day one that she was embellishing a large part of her claims. To be honest, I didn't think she was clean from day one either, but now this kind of proves that she's really not clean. Like this is pretty damning. And the lawyer can say whatever she wants. Kind of no coming back from this one. To be honest, for me, my
Yeah.
personal standpoint, pretty bad.
Well, yeah, I'm anxious to see what else comes out.
Yeah. What else does Vince have? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's crazy no matter what.
They're both nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Frank Nordquist, Dr. Tom, I love babyfaces undefeated streaks, but I absolutely hate heels undefeated streaks. What do you think about that?
I don't mind. I don't mind anybody having an undefeated streak. Really.
Goldberg was a good one. Good babyface
Goldberg.
streak.
Yeah. Yeah. Trying to think of a heel who had an undefeated streak.
Mr. Perfect for a little bit.
Oh, okay. I'm sure there's more than one.
Oh yeah, I
But
can't think of it off the top of my head, but I was just thinking about him and I was thinking of Goldberg. But I do, yeah, maybe I do like babyface undefeated streaks a little bit more. I'm trying to think, maybe. I don't know, I kind of like Perfect, so that was a good one.
yeah,
Tatanka had one for a while.
right. I really don't mind a heel having an undefeated streak.
Hey, gotta lose sometime though, right? Can't be undefeated
Yeah.
forever.
Right.
It seems like Vince has made over $1 billion walking away. Is he really suffering? No.
I don't know that he's suffering anything except the fact that he's a workaholic. And, I'm sure he's working on something, but who knows what. But yeah, I don't know that he's suffering money wise. That's for sure. I just think a guy like him who constantly needs to be busy um, is in some way paying the price right now.
King Kong Bundy said one time that Harley Race told him he called Vince, said hi. Vince told Harley, "Who is this?" Kept saying his name until he said King Harley Race. Then Vince McMahon acknowledged him. Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, possible, but who
Did you
knows?
have to call him King Harley Race when you saw him?
No, call him Harley.
No, no King there involved. I did like that gimmick though. I felt like it fit him pretty well. The King
Of
Harley Race.
course it did. Lawler
Especially,
didn't think so, but
right, of course not. Yeah, especially towards the latter part of Race's run. But I thought that was great.
yeah, me too. Harley.
Dr. Tom, Kenny Kendall was able to use the name Dr. Death, but Steve Austin couldn't use his own name of Steve Williams. Why do you think that was?
Because Steve Williams was already there. Steve Williams already you had a name, Doctor Death Steve Williams, and so you couldn't use Steve Austin or Steve Williams for Steve Austin. He had to have something else. Doc had it first.
You kind of can share a nickname, but you can't share a name, right?
Right. At least that's what I think.
Dr. D. I know it wasn't Dr. Death, but Dr. D, David Schultz. Dr. Death. I mean, similar, but obviously you're using similar nicknames. You just can't. It would be crazy to have two Steve Williams out there.
Right. Right. But it would have been cool to have both of them working against each other.
True. Whatever happened to that Steve Austin guy? Did he ever do anything in the business?
I'm not sure, man. I think he got a good job at Walmart.
Please ask Dr. Tom when he trains a new wrestler, does he know right away if they're a natural born heel?
Sometimes you can tell when some guy is just a complete asshole. I had one recently. He's just a complete asshole. There's no way he's going to be a likable guy. He doesn't get it. Thinks he's too cool for school.
With the like the training of the guys, do you have to develop that, or do you think that some guys, like she's saying here, is maybe a natural born heel, or is that something more that you need to develop into?
Sometimes I think it's better to be more natural. If you're innately a heel or a babyface, it'll come out. And if you have to play a part, I think that's really not a good thing. So if you're a natural babyface, prey on that, use that. Same thing if you're an asshole, you're a heel. Be a heel and turn that volume up. But I like to play towards their strengths. And if you're more of a guy who likes people and smiles a lot and get along, then you're a baby face. But if you can't, or you're just a natural smartass, try being a heel.
Where am I here?
Because the heels are the baby faces anyway.
In real life.
In real life, yeah.
Barbara says Ric Flair said Harley called Vader a big fat crybaby and told him to shut up. Does that seem about right to you?
It seems about right. Yeah, it seems like something Harley would say. I went out on the boat with Harley, stayed at his house in Eldon, Missouri. Did a camp with him and Les Thatcher, and got to talk to him and ask him about a lot of stuff. And Harley struck me as one of those guys, quiet, but you don't want to make him mad. And we were talking about how when you get upset, I said I don't. And I was telling him, I said, I don't yell. For instance, when I get in a fight with my wife or somebody else, I don't yell. I don't raise my voice. And Harley says, yeah, I don't do any of that either. I just take care of it. So, yeah, but I could see Vader getting under his skin and say, shut up, you big fat crybaby, and move on. So, yeah, it seems about right.
And Vader, who obviously legitimate tough guy himself, definitely respected Harley enough to say, okay, I'm not going to. Yep. He used to call him Mr. Race. Mr. Race.
Yes, I can see that too. Definitely see that.
During Mr. Perfect's undefeated streak, I knew there was zero chance of Terry Taylor or Jimmy Snuka defeating him. That always angered me as a kid, said Magazine Retriever.
Well, yeah, but I'm sure you got over it.
Ibsen wants me to show you the Sunny Funko. I think I
Oh,
texted
you
it to
you
you,
sent
right?
it to
Yes.
me. Yes, you
Yep.
did. Is that an actual gimmick?
So this is just a joke. Somebody
Yeah,
made
I
it,
was going to say because she's got a steering wheel in her hand and a
and
jumpsuit.
the jumpsuit. Yeah. So this is
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was just a gimmick.
the
Yeah,
Funko.
yeah, I did see it. You sent that to me.
So Ibsen's got a pretty good sense of humor there, as far
Oh, was
as
that from Ibsen?
Ibsen said to me, so I sent to you. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay,
Pretty
gotcha.
funny. Pretty funny.
Yes.
Barbara Flair said Steamboat could never be a heel. Too nice of a person.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's true. I just think it would have been a forced issue.
Sonal Nayak. Hello, Sonal.
So now,
Frank Nordquist. I always found it interesting when a wrestler's accent didn't match the build hometown, like Ric Flair and Randy Savage, who did not sound like they were from the South.
well, yeah, but I think that was where they were living at the time, so that's why they used it as their hometown.
Yeah, like
Because
Flair, I think, was born in Minnesota, right? Wasn't
Yeah,
he?
Rick used to be advertised from Minnesota.
But then it was woo, Charlotte, North Carolina, or
Right,
Winston Salem, or Greensboro. Yeah, then it was always, or really Charlotte, but yeah, it was always North Carolina,
right.
Flair country.
Flair country.
I told somebody said that their daughter moved down there. I said, "Oh, Flair country." They didn't know what I was talking about.
Clueless.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, "Come on!" And I said, "North Carolina." They're like, "Yeah, yeah." Like, why is that? I said, "Because of Ric Flair." They're like, "Oh my god, the old wrestler." I said, "Yes, Flair country." Come on, they got to put two and two together here, people.
Well, some people can't put one and one together.
Um, as far as Harley Race, I do have to, because I haven't finished yet. I got to finish that Dark Side of the Ring. Very interesting subject they chose there. I don't know if he's like the natural fit for the dark side. You know what I mean? I feel like it would be kind of like an awesome side of the ring.
Well, yeah, but he did have some tragedy in his life,
Oh yeah,
so maybe they're just trying to figure a way to get it in there and put him on.
maybe.
They,
I don't know
they,
if I don't, and I have to see if they interviewed Ace Steel about that, because I know your buddy Ace and my buddy.
right, right.
Um, he owns the Harley Race trademark, so I mean he'd be the perfect guy to talk to. So I know they talked to Trevor Murdoch, but I wonder if Ace is on there.
Wow. Yeah, I
Trained by
wonder.
Harley too. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I wonder if he did.
he'd kind of be the perfect Harley Race guy.
Well, if he would be the perfect Harley race guy, then I'm sure he's going to be on there. I'm almost sure.
Craig Seaback, Dynamite Kid, was a natural hero in Calgary. He seemed uncomfortable as a babyface, though, in the WWF.
Yeah, I don't think Dynamite was a babyface at all.
Did you ever? Oh no, you never wrestled him, right? You were
Mm-mm.
supposed to in Portland. Never happened, right?
Supposed to in L.A. on his way back from Japan. Never
What
did.
happened? What happened?
I don't know. I guess he just skipped L.A. Just went out straight to Portland. I don't know.
And I still crack up with Beefcake saying that he had to carry him in WWF in '86 when he
Yeah,
was like the
Gary.
best wrestler in the world in the early '80s. He had to carry him.
Oh yeah,
So funny.
yeah. Well, Beefcake had his own dark side of the ring, so
Yeah, exactly. Yep. But come on, carrying Dynamite Kid, it's got to be out of your damn mind. Come on. Even
well,
Valentine wouldn't even say that. I mean, come on. Crazy.
Valentine
Might be,
wouldn't say a lot of stuff.
might be the craziest thing I've ever heard, actually. ATF is back. He says, "Do you think Harley Race got royalties each time a race of Harley motorcycles was held?" What do you think about that?
I think he should have, but I don't think he did.
It makes all too much sense right there from ATF.
Yeah, way too much sense.
Ibsen, when fans met you at Zip when you were out in public, did fans tell you did you tell where you're billed from? Did they give them a city location? So is Skip and Zip from somewhere? I don't remember. Like, is there an actual?
We're from hell.
Oh,
Yeah, we were from hell.
from the gates of hell,
From
Skip
the
and
gates of
Zip,
hell, Skip
party
and Zip,
time.
yes.
That's not bad.
Yeah, but Zip died in a flaming car crash.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Bobby Heenan said Big John Studd should never have been a heel. He made Andre mad stepping over the top rope. What's your take on this?
Well, my take on that is I knew John back when I was a kid. He was a big guy, nice guy. Um, he trained to be a minister. You knew that, right? He studied to be a minister.
Wow.
Sure
Wow.
did. John Minton in Texas. We talked about it a little bit. So, but my take was he felt he was a real giant, and Andre was a freak. So I liked Andre too, but John just had that attitude.
I
That's why
like him
everybody
as a
liked him.
heel big time, and Hogan
What?
obviously loved him as a heel too. Made a ton of money with him. I love
Yeah,
Stud as a heel, more
yeah,
so
I
as a
did
heel than
too.
a babyface.
I did too, but he just was such a nice guy.
Everything I've heard about Andre, he seems like a giant childish bully. That's from J.R. Wiz. Really? Wow.
Well, again, Andre was the boss, and Andre was that attraction back then. So sometimes he could act like a childish bully, I'm sure, but there were a lot of people who liked working with him.
The bowels of hell. I like that
Yes,
for Skippins. The bowels of hell.
I
Still
agree.
think WWE could have done something with Zip and Simon Dean. That's actually not a bad thought.
It's a horrible thought, Brendan.
Oh, or
Horrible
okay,
thought.
or that, or that. Okay.
Or that, yes, thank you.
Scorch, Dr. Tom, Disco Inferno mentioned a drunk Buff Bagwell in a cab punching Chris Jericho. I have a feeling that Jericho would have beaten Buff very badly unless he was restrained. What do you think, Jericho versus Buff?
Yeah, I don't know about that one either. Uh, that could have been one of those urban legends because I had never heard that one.
I always heard that Jericho was pretty tough and that Buff might not have been as tough. That's what I've always gleaned or you kind of heard from a lot of the guys.
I could see that. I could see Jericho being a little bit tougher than Buff.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't see Buff beating him for whatever reason because if you believe the story, Shane Helms beat up Buff pretty bad. So
Yeah,
and I feel like Jericho could be able to take Hurricane. I would think, but I don't know.
I think Hurricane's pretty tough too.
Yeah, tough kid, as they
Tough
say.
kid.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
it's a good disco story there. Did you ever go clubbing with Andre?
I had dinner with him. Yes, I was able to hang with him a few times. And when he came through LA, went out a couple times in Atlanta, I think. I think it was Atlanta. Yes, I have drank with Andre.
Did you out
No,
did you outdrink him?
no, did not outdrink Andre.
Did you even think about it?
Not even a chance. Yeah.
As a kid, time seems to move more slowly, so it took longer for wrestlers' gimmicks to become stale to me, and Mr. Perfect's streak seemed like it lasted 10 years. Going back to the streaks.
Yeah, well, I could see as a kid, things do look a little different. That's what I was talking about with when Rock showed two little girls crying or two little kids crying when he beat up Cody. So, yeah, as a kid, you can suspend your belief and get into it a little more.
What was your favorite Andre story?
When I got to sit on his shoulders, that picture right there
Oh,
on
nice. Yeah.
Andre's shoulders, yeah, in Houston. That was my first battle royal in Houston, and we sat down and right there, we sat down in the dressing room, and Paul Bosch explained to Andre what he wanted to do and wanted me to climb up on Andre's shoulders and hold on. And Andre was going to eliminate me from the battle royal. He was very cool with it. So very nice.
Nice. Nice. Please tell us where we can get Dr. Tom's wrestling book. Perfect for WrestleMania. How do we get an autographed
Yes,
copy? Look at
you
that.
fantastic. What a night. That means it's time to go, right, Barbara? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
I'll tell you what, you can go to jpwrestlingacademy.com, click on the training tab at the top, it'll bring you right to my book. If you want an autographed copy, email me at jpwrestlingacademy@gmail.com. Tell me you want an autographed copy, and I'll tell you how to get it.
Nice. One final question here. Has Vince reached out to you? I can't see him distancing himself from a friend like you.
Yeah, me either. As hard as it may be able to be, Vince wanted to go to lunch the other day, but I was busy. I had to change the tips with my shoelaces.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Two Man Power Trip. Check out Dr. Tom at Dr. Tom Prichard. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. See you right back here next week for a little Take You to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. We'll see you next week, folks.